right screen. The catch. Oh, right there, the tip by Larry. Was that Larry Johnson or Kendall Gill? That was Kendall Gill.
Kendall Gill. To take a look at it one more time as the partying continues.
Great pass. There it is. Wow.
Very close.
Wow.
Very, very close. But that is the man who hit the big shot with 0.4 of a second that vaults the Charlotte Hornets into round number 2 of the 1993 NBA playoffs.
Got a thirsty sound, it's about to make you pay. Try an iced tea cooler, it's new from Gatorade, so take a tea. Gatorade, time out, take a tea. You know your body needs it when you've got a thirst, so take a tea.
New Gatorade iced tea cooler flavor explodes with refreshing lemon tea.
And the beauty of nature is all about.
Welcoming you to the Los Angeles Sports Arena. Game 4 in the best-of-5 series between the LA Clippers and the Houston Rockets. Your Jeep Eagles starting lineups: Thorpe, Horry, Olajuwon, Garland, and Kenny Smith for the Rockets. Manning, Norman, Roberts, Harper, and Jackson for the Clippers. And we are just underway. About 1 minute and 45 seconds have gone by in the game. The Rockets leading at 4-2. They've had baskets scored by Otis Thorpe and Kenny Smith. And Stanley Roberts has the only Clipper points to this point.
Pete, a couple of changes here early in the game for the Clippers already. They have taken Stanley Roberts off of Olajuwon to try to keep Stanley on the floor longer. They are playing him with Danny Manning on the defensive end. And they have gone to Stanley Roberts a couple of times already against Hakeem to make sure they get something for Stanley should he get in foul trouble as he did in Game 3.
Big key for the Clippers surviving in this series, keeping Stanley Roberts out on the court. He has fouled out of 2 of the first 3 games.
And had 5 fouls in the one that he did not foul out of.
Stanley Roberts again blocked from behind by Horry. And the ball goes back to the Houston Rockets. Rockets leading at 4-2. There you see what we're talking about. Only 18 minutes in Game 3, no points.
And as Stanley Roberts played just 18 minutes in that ball game, that gave Olajuwon every opportunity he wanted to float around on defense to help everyone out. He was going for every block shot because the Clippers had nothing offensively from their center in that game.
4-2, Houston leading it. They're up 2-1 in the series. If they win it tonight, they advance to the next round. Clippers must win to stay alive. And there's a guy that could help if he could get his offense going, Kenny Norman. He has not had a good offensive series, averaging only a little over 12 a game.
Well,
Robert Horry committing the foul is first.
He's shooting just 33% here in the playoffs. He's guarded most of the night by Robert Horry, but then if he does get it going, the Rockets come off the bench with Carl Herrera, who is an excellent defensive player, usually is assigned to the toughest offensive player when he enters the game, regardless of what position.
And this continues to be a problem. He's only a 59% free throw shooter during the regular season, 57% for this playoff series. In fact, the Clippers as a team shooting just 67% from the line for this series. Norman gets 1 of 2, 4-3, Houston by 1. Kenny Smith guarded by Jackson. Horry playing with that ailing right knee. He's got tendonitis in that right knee.
In the game that the Clippers was able to win, they did a really good job doubling up on Olajuwon. They forced the Rockets into a real low percentage from the field, and the defense was working very well. The 2 other games they lost, the defense was nowhere near as impressive.
Winston Garland comes up short with that jumper. Rebound pulled away by Harper. Clippers on the run. Nice pass to Danny Manning underneath. And Danny Manning is on the board, his first 2 of the night. They need more points from Manning, more points from Kenny Norman.
Of course, Manning also struggling offensively. He needs to get more points off the break. That's the way to get the confidence
and
up.
You got a 4-on-1 break here, and they were unable to convert a 4-on-1 break.
Well, they probably should have gone to the middle to Mark Jackson that time. Danny Manning tried to go through the defense to Norman on the weak side of the floor.
8:49 to go. What a night it has already been here on TNT. What a finish to that Boston-Charlotte series. Harper over Garland. And Ron Harper's on the board, his first 2. Clippers up by 1. Make it by 3. half of this one stolen by Harper. Harper wide open. Little strong with the shot. Stanley Roberts, the rebound and the putback.
Now you see what Stanley can do as long as he stays on the floor. Rudy Tomjanovich will take a 20-second timeout. But that is why Stanley Roberts must put at least 30 minutes in here tonight.
Clippers have reeled off 9 straight points. They lead at 9-4, and something we're seeing tonight that we did not see in Game 3. They are immediately getting the crowd involved here.
Well, the crowd wanted so badly to be a part of the game. The Rockets jumped out on the Clippers early in that ball game, controlled the tempo, got everything to go their way. Another thing the Rockets did in Game 3, they spread their offense a lot to force the double team to have to cover a lot of distance to get there. And then they made the outside shots. The ball was moving very well. Here's Stanley Roberts working the offensive boards. When he's on the floor, Hakeem has to stay at home. He's not going to be as effective blocking shots, so Stanley must stay in there.
And so far, Stanley has stayed out of foul trouble. No whistles on him yet. 9-4, Clippers by 5. Kenny Smith dishing outside to Otis Thorpe. He gets it right by Roberts and puts it home for 2. He has 4 of the 6 Houston points. Clippers by 3 now.
Good move by Larry Brown to take Stanley Roberts off of Olajuwon. Thorpe, of course, can score the points down low, so Stanley is not going to be able to take it easy.
Danny Manning misfires. It belongs to Houston. Rockets down by 3. Hakeem working some of his magic. His first 2 of the night. That's a 1-point Clipper lead.
Now that's a real good look as to what the Rockets were able to do offensively. You see how much that offense is spread. That takes out the chances for the double team. And Olajuwon works one-on-one.
Danny Norman couldn't get the jumper to fall. Rebound pulled away by Olajuwon. He's already pulled down 3 rebounds in this first quarter. Garland losing the ball. And the Clippers are going to call a timeout here with 7:09 remaining in quarter number 1. The Clippers leading it by a 9-8 score.
Baseballs are flying out of Mile High Stadium.
The LA Sports Arena, Clippers leading at 9-8. Pete Van Weer and Goose Gibbons with you tonight for Game 4 of this series. It's been kind of an unusual series in the sense, Jack, that a lot of people thought the Clippers had no chance at all in this series, but they stole a game in Houston and off to a good start tonight.
Well, a whole lot of what has happened in this game you can attribute to defense by both teams, and especially in the game that the Clippers was able to win when they held the Rockets to 32%, actually a little lower than 32% from the field in that ball game. As I mentioned earlier here, Stanley Roberts and his ability to stay on the floor, be active in this game is going to be a key down the stretch.
Also tonight, we have not mentioned yet that Houston has back in uniform Vernon Maxwell. He did not start the game. He's wearing a cast on his left wrist, but he has been able to practice the last 2 days, and he is available.
They would like to get through this game without using Vernon, but he is very anxious to get in.
Danny Manning is hit for 4. Clippers lead it 11-8. Kenny Smith and Harper on him now. They'll take the jumper over Harper. A little strong with it. Rebound comes out to Jackson. Now Harper.
Nice move. Nice.
Roberts, and he shakes free for his 4th point.
Ron Harper had a real big game in Game 3, although he got only 10 shots to basket in that ball game. He scored well.
Corey inside to Otis Thorpe. He draws the double team. The open man on the other side is Kenny Smith, and he drills the jumper.
Yeah, another example of how well they played the double teams in Game 3. They moved the ball around. One thing I was very impressed with in that game is how quickly the ball moved to the open man.
3-point Clipper lead, just under 6 minutes to go first quarter. Jackson losing the ball, now it's stolen away by Garland. 2-on-1 break. The only man back is Harper. He'll never catch Kenny Smith. And Smith has struck for 6 quick points here in this first quarter. 13-12 now. Clippers by 1. Danny Manning, top of the circle. No. Rebound. Otis Thorpe.
When you're struggling offensively, that's the kind of shot you want to try to stay away from.
And there's a steal by Mark Jackson. The trailer, Kenny Norman. 3 points for Norman, a 3-point lead for the Clippers. Jackson steals. That is 6 turnovers already in this first quarter. And Kenny Norman makes him pay on the other end again. He scored 5, and Rudy Tomjanovich, a look of disbelief on his face.
I think we'll see Vernon Maxwell a little bit quicker than he wanted to. A couple of turnovers here now coming from Winston Garland, who is occupying the spot of Vernon Maxwell. He has played well, almost another turnover.
Olajuwon over 2 Clippers, and Hakeem has hit for 4 in the first quarter. 17-14, Clippers by 3.
You'll see him to continue to fall away towards the baseline. The help defense is coming from the middle of the court. He is trying to stay away from that by making baseline moves.
Mark Jackson penetrating into the paint, misses the short-range jumper. Olajuwon the rebound. He has 4 rebounds in this first quarter.
A real key in Stanley Roberts' stand on the floor is how well Larry Brown gauges how tired Stanley is. He picks up a lot of fouls when he gets fatigued. You might see him out of there pretty quickly.
Norman brings it down for the Clippers.
They wanted him to let it go. Good decision.
Danny Manning into the paint, almost lost it. Got it back there, missed the shot, rebound. First pulled away by Horry, then touched by Roberts. It belongs to Houston. And here comes the first case of giving Stanley Roberts a breather as John Williams checks in, 6'9", 295-pounder. At LSU, replacing another former LSU player in Stanley Roberts.
They get shorter. They don't get any smaller with John Williams checking into the ballgame. Now, against Olajuwon, John Williams just not effective at all. You see him going against Otis Thorpe also. Hakeem just had his way with John Williams when he tried to guard him.
So they've gotten some quality minutes in this first quarter out of Stanley Roberts, and no fouls. That's the key.
That's the most important.
Now we'll see if Hakeem tries to take advantage of this matchup again. This time outside to Kenny Smith. Rebound kept alive by Thorpe, but pulled away by Jackson.
Good transition defense.
That's a 3 if it goes. John Williams hits for 3.
And that's the one thing he can still do, and that is shoot the ball from the outside. As long as he does not have to put the ball on the floor, try to create something off the dribble, he can shoot a fairly high percentage.
Clippers now lead it by 6 with 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. That's a 2 if it goes. Garland gets the deep rebound.
Yeah, he shot the ball very well.
Winston Garland's first 2 of the night. And the Rockets are back to within 4.
Averaged 14 points a game the last 4 games of the season, filling in for Vernon Maxwell.
Mark Jackson into the paint. He's wondering why no whistle was blown there. Williams, that's a 2-pointer if it goes, and it rolls around, and now Kenny Smith gives to Hakeem. There's the double team. And see how Hakeem gets around Williams. He had no trouble doing that the other night, and he's not having any trouble doing it so far tonight. 6 points for Olajuwon, 20-18 now. Clippers by 2.
And then the other thing, the Clippers are trying to mix up the opportunities to double team. If Hakeem catches it outside of the paint, they will try to give his defensive player a chance to play him one-on-one. As soon as he puts the ball down, they're going to run at him with the double team.
20-second timeout being taken here. Now it's going to be a full timeout. 2:13 remaining.
Some mountains.
First got him by a bucket with about 2 minutes to go in the first period. Let's tell you what happened at Portland and San Antonio. The Spurs down 101-100, about a minute 20 to play. The Admiral taking it to the rack. Look at left corner of your screen. Lloyd Daniels, Sweet Pea with a sweet tip. They're ahead to stay. It's 102-101 at that point. They win at 107-101. The Spurs up 2-1. Now let's go back to the LA Sports Arena.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. Here it's 2018 Clippers, 2:13 remaining. In the opening quarter, Lester Connor and Gary Grant, a new backcourt in now for the Clippers. Lester had a good game in Game 3.
Well, he gave him some offense. Of course, Lester Connor, one that hardly ever turns the ball over, so you know you're going to get steady play at the point guard spot. He gave him 10 points in Game 3.
Misfires. Matt Bullard's checked in for Houston. Also, Elmore Spencer seeing his first playoff action. In there for the Clippers.
Another big body to lean on Olajuwon. Of course, Olajuwon will take it to the rookie and try to get him in foul trouble. He picked up one very quickly that time.
It's only the second foul called against the Clippers in this quarter. And Bullard inbounds it to Kenny Smith.
Just another big body to lean on Olajuwon.
Down low is Thorpe. A little jump hook by Thorpe wouldn't go. Norman pulls away the rebound. Off to Gary Grant. John Williams.
Well, you see the difference in that shot by John Williams and the one he knocked down. He had to shoot that one on the move, shoot a lot quicker, and he's not nearly as effective that way.
And on the miss, Olajuwon pulling down his 5th rebound. Send it inside to Olajuwon. Williams got a hand on that ball. Here comes Ron Harper checking back in, replacing Kenny Norman. Norman with 5 points. And checking into the Houston lineup, we're glad to see him okay tonight. Scott Brooks. What did he take a spill in Game 3?
Well, and he is hurting just about everywhere on his body.
Yeah, it's easier to list the parts that aren't hurting than the parts that are. He really took a spill. We'll show it to you a little later. Olajuwon hits that outside shot. He has 8 points in this first quarter to go along with 5 rebounds, and we are tied at 20 with just over a minute to go in the opening quarter.
Well, you would just love to have Olajuwon taking that shot, but you don't like the results right there. Of course, he will take it when he gets over.
Gary Grant finds an open Elmore Spencer underneath. You see Olajuwon change that shot. He is a factor. 48 minutes a night, every minute he's out there.
I'm sure Spencer as surprised as everyone else in this building that he's in there this quickly. He does force the turnover there.
That is turnover number 7 for the Houston Rockets in this opening quarter. Danny Manning checking back in, replacing Elmore Spencer.
Yeah, I think Spencer will get a pretty good hand. He did a good job on Olajuwon. Of course, Larry Brown wanted to test him early to see if he was, in fact, going to be able to give him something in case they need him later.
And keep in mind, Loy Vaught unable to play tonight. He's got a muscle strain in his back.
Happened in the 4th period of game number 3. Really, in the last 2 minutes of that game, he just felt something rubbed the wrong way in his back, and he's unable to play tonight.
About a 3-second differential. Shot clock, game clock. Shot clock now at 9. Shot clock now at 4. Garland. Nope. Connor the rebound. And we'll see if the Clippers can beat the clock here. It's 3 if it goes, and it goes for Lester Connor. The Clippers put a finish to this first quarter. 23-20 LA after 1.
Well, as I say, Lester Connor, the guy that they put on just to be steady, to run the offense. Any points on the board from Lester is a big bonus to this team. That one, nice to go down for Lester Connor.
Clippers lead it by 3.
On Headline News, you get all the latest news every 30 minutes. It's the one network with sports highlights and up-to-the-minute scores at 20 and 50 past the hour.
3 at the end of a quarter thanks to this Lester Connor shot at the buzzer.
You know, in game 1 and in game 3, the Rockets were able to have a big first period and took the Clippers right out of the game right from the beginning. Lester Connor right there answers as the Rockets have tied the score, gives the Clippers a 3-point lead here. And he gets more and more confidence. Larry Brown gets more and more confidence in having Lester Connor in the game every minute he's out there.
And it'll be Lester Connor along with Gary Grant and John Williams and Danny Manning and Ron Harper for the Clippers. Scott Brooks, Carl Herrera checking in for the first time tonight. Robert Horry's back in there along with Sleepy Floyd in for the first time, and Akeem for the Rockets. Quarter number 2 underway. A little backcourt pressure being applied by the Clippers.
Anything to slow the Rockets down, force them to use some time on the shot clock, so when they finally get it up, they'll have to rush to get a good shot.
Brooks almost lost it. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. 4 left to shoot it. Brooks going to have to put one up from out in 3-point territory. Good defense by the Clippers that time.
Well, they are a good defensive team when they apply themselves as they did that time.
Manning to Williams. Nope, the rebound pulled away by Carl Herrera. Off to Sleepy Floyd.
I think Danny Manning, because he is struggling with his confidence right now, passing
Looks
up
like he is
a shot like that. Yeah. I mean, that's one he would not hesitate to take when he's playing the way he normally does.
Brooks got himself into the paint. Larry Brown indicating that the ball was blocked and a foul shouldn't be called, and that's going to be the call. No foul. Yeah, Manning's just 2 of 6 so far in the game. And the inbounds pass stolen by Danny Manning. Off to Grant. Grant to Harper.
That's when the Clippers are effective. Take that Rocket defense right out of it by playing the aggressive defense themselves, getting some steals, and getting out on the break.
And the Clippers now up by 5. 8 Houston turnovers in this first half.
Well, and that might be as many as they had the whole game in Game 3.
Hakeem Olajuwon now in double figures. He has 10. 25-22, Clippers by 3. Cross-court it comes to Grant, now to Danny Manning. And again, he hesitated before putting that shot up. A little indecisive.
He just doesn't look confident. He's slow to take the shot. He's slow to make the moves to the basket. He's second-guessing himself on everything he does offensively.
2 for 7 now from the field. Olajuwon over Williams. Rebound Manning. Off to Lester Connor. Clippers on the run again.
Good transition defense.
Ron Harper for 3. Harper has 9 points. The Clippers have a 6-point lead. That's a 2-pointer for Scott Brooks. His first 2 of the night. Now it's Houston that has the reputation of being the good 3-point shooting team, and tonight they have yet to hit a 3. And the Clippers have gone 3 for 3 from 3-point land.
The Rockets had taken 40 coming into this game. 14 of 40, 5 of 12 for the Clippers.
Well, Danny Manning somehow got that one to fall. That may have been the toughest shot he's taken all night. Maybe that'll get him going. That's 6 points for Manning, a 6-point lead for the Clippers.
Yeah, that's the kind of shot that can be a confidence builder for a guy like Danny Manning. Of course, he likes to shoot that little jump hook, falling away, going towards the baseline.
We've got a timeout with 9:17 remaining in the half. Clippers leading it by 6. That Scott Brooks took late in that ball game, and it had everybody on that Houston ball club a little scared.
And how he got up from this one, I'll never know. And as you can imagine, he is very, very sore coming into this ball game. Watch, he gets up maybe too quickly here. Watch the reaction after he finally gets up off the floor. Almost goes back down.
He said today his head, his shoulder, his back, and his right foot all hurt.
And a possible bruised rib on top of that.
But he's in there playing. Rockets down by 6. Olajuwon with Manning on him. Grant comes over to help. Olajuwon hits the open jumper. He's hit for 12 points.
Well, that's the shot they want to give up to him. I mean, they want him going away from the basket when he lets it go. But, of course, he's making that shot very well here in this game.
A 4-point Clipper lead. Olajuwon now 6 of 8 from the field. Grant. Short. Rebound kept alive by Stanley Roberts, who's back in there. Over to Lester Connor. This one wouldn't go, and Olajuwon pulls down his 6th rebound. 8.5 minutes left in the half. Clippers up by 4. Clippers must win tonight to survive. Sleepy Floyd converts his first 2 of the night. And it's a 2-point lead.
I think what happened that time, the Clippers were so concerned with Olajuwon coming down to the low post, they kind of let up defensively, and that allowed the basket to come by Sleepy Floyd.
Inside, Stanley Roberts immediately draws the double team and has the ball stolen by Sleepy Floyd.
And when Stanley Roberts is not on the floor, they do not think twice about doubling on anyone.
Robert Horry. His first 2 of the night. And we are tied at 30. Houston playing very, very aggressive defense.
Look at the defense.
Stanley Roberts in the paint.
He has nice touch. He has really nice touch. But as I say, he has spent so much time this season on the floor, he really struggles to get into a rhythm.
32-30. And we got a whistle underneath. And there's the first foul of the night on Stanley Roberts. Lester Connor sits down. Mark Jackson checks back in for the Clippers. 79% free throw shooter for the year, now in his 11th year in this league out of Georgetown. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Jack Gibbons and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. We missed them both. Boy, we have seen some teams having real foul line problems in these playoffs earlier.
Really terrible free throw shooting.
32-30, Clippers lead it by 2. Williams is checked back in.
The fortunate thing about this series, when you talk about free throw shooting, is that no game has been close. So the free throw shooting has not come into play.
Ron Harper now with 11 points tonight. And the Clippers have built that lead back up to 4. Trying to get it inside to Carl Herrera. Another Rocket turnover, number 9 of this first half.
And Harper working against Brooks should get the ball.
They get it to him now. Keene comes over to help. They swing it around the other side, inside Stanley Roberts. Draws a crowd. Harper had it blocked by Keene, gets it back, shoots it over Brooks, and draws the foul.
Now that mismatch stayed there a long time, and the Clippers finally got the foul out of it. Stanley Roberts here going against Hakeem. He wanted the foul. And Brooks gets Harper across the arm on this shot attempt.
6:30 to go in the half. Clippers up by 4.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within.
The Clippers have been able to get more minutes out of Stanley Roberts in this game, and that's one reason why they're up by 4. You'll see him right here working the low post against Olajuwon. He has really nice touch, but as I mentioned, because of his foul trouble, he finds it hard to spend consistent minutes on the floor. What he does for the Clippers when he is making shots like that, he forces the double team and gets open shots for the other players on his team. There's just one foul in this ball game tonight.
And you see what he did the first 2 games, averaged 15 points in those first 2, didn't score at all, as I mentioned, in game 3. Tonight he has 6, but the key tonight is only 1 foul. We have 6.5 minutes to go. Coming up on our Reebok halftime report, scores and highlights of that dramatic finish in the Celtics-Hornets series, along with the Cavaliers and the Nets and the Blazers and the Spurs. A John Starks update after that little to-do in the Knicks game yesterday, and then a Game 4 preview of the Suns and Lakers.
Tell you what about John Starks, as you see Olajuwon out of the game for the first time tonight. It was nice to see, or good to see, I should say, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, and the rest of his teammates come over and get on his case for that in the playoffs. I tell you what, everyone is important, and of course Stark's a very, very integral part of what the Knicks want to accomplish, especially on the offensive end of the floor.
He's one of their top scoring threats, that's for sure.
And he was fortunate he didn't get a game suspension on top of the $5,000 fine.
35-30, Clippers up by 5 with 6:20 remaining.
See the shot clock running down an awful lot. Herrera makes the shot that time, but the Clippers defensively forcing Houston to use up a lot of time on that shot clock.
35-32. Los Angeles leading it by 3. Kenny Smith getting ready to check back into the lineup along with Winston Garland for the Rockets.
Now you see the double team. Let's see what kind of shot the Clippers get out of it.
Kenny Norman. And he's picked it up a little bit tonight, too. He scored 7 points in this first half. The lead back up to 5.
Yeah, they're going to have to continue to knock those shots down to force the Rockets to pay for the double team on Stanley Roberts.
Until tonight, Norman was having a terrible shooting series, hitting only 33% from the field. Otis Thorpe, rebound pulled away by Williams. Harper over Floyd. That's a three-pointer. The 4th three-pointer hit by the Clippers tonight. Harper with 15. And it's an 8-point lead now, 40-32. Brooks going to try it over Roberts. The tip by Otis Thorpe. His 6th point, back to a 6-point game now, 40-34.
Stanley Roberts left Thorpe that time. He is one of the best at following up shots, getting the cheap baskets.
Mark Jackson misfires, but Stanley Roberts with the offensive rebound and the putback.
They wanted to push on Big Stanley that time, but very aggressively going to the boards.
Clippers by 8 again. Matching their biggest lead of the night.
Well, what a difference this Clipper team is with Stanley in there instead of on the bench in foul trouble.
Matt Bullard drills a 3, and there's the first three-pointer of the night for the Houston Rockets, who are one of the better three-point shooting teams in the league.
Well, it's great to know your role, and that is Matt Bullard's role, to come in, spot up on the weak side to free up some of the double teams on guys down low.
42-37, Clippers up by 5. John Williams the rebound, back outside to Jackson. Jackson gets right by Scott Brooks. Couldn't get the basketball. Brooks fouled him, and that's number 2 on Brooks.
Jackson has been in the paint all night. Those little push shots to the basket that he normally makes a very high percentage of, rolling all around the rim. None have gone down for him yet.
You can see how differently the Clippers are playing tonight when you realize that Mark Jackson's been their leading scorer in this series. Tonight he's looking for his first points now as he goes to the line.
Well, really, when Mark Jackson leads his team in scoring, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's good. He wants to get everyone else involved in the offense. He wants to be creating shots for his teammates, and when he's putting it up, he can't do that.
He was the leading scorer almost out of necessity because nobody else was hitting.
Right. No one else making shots, but you see what he's done in the playoffs to this point.
The Clippers up by 6. One more free throw for Jackson. And Bullard pulls away the rebound. Pete Van Wern, Jack Gibbons with you from the LA Sports Arena. We're in Game 4. 3:49 to go in the second quarter. Rockets trying to win the series tonight. Clippers trying to send it back to Houston. Tied at 2.
Well, that's just the way the ball moved in Game 3. You see how quickly it is rotated. You see how spread that offense is. And you see how long the defense has to come to catch up with the ball.
And Bullard with 2 quick three-pointers has made it to a 3-point game again. 43-40. Jackson back outside Norman. Bullard coming at him. Norman shot a little strong. Tip by Stanley Roberts out to Danny Manning. Now Manning will come in and take the jumper over Thorpe. And Thorpe got him. That is the first call against Otis Thorpe tonight. And going to the line, Danny Manning. And a lot of talk out here. And if you listen to the sports talk shows, I don't know how an athlete can listen to the sports talk shows. They would drive me crazy if I were a player. Well, all the talk out here, will Danny Manning be traded? Will he be back as a Clipper next year? It just never ends.
Well, the thing that surprised me the most in listening to the talk shows, a lot of folks called in and were talking as to whether or not they even wanted to keep Danny Manning here. I mean, whether it's better for the team to have Danny Manning?
That's Elgin
Baylor, of course, will be one.
Have a busy, busy summer.
A lot of Clippers coming up for renegotiation. It's going to be a tough summer.
Manning makes them both. He now has 8 points. And it's 45-40. Closing in on the 3-minute mark. They get it inside to Akeem, operating in the paint this time. No. Rebound pulled away by Roberts. 4 rebounds for Stanley. Danny Manning got fouled by Bullard.
And that one almost went.
That's Bullard's first. A timeout called here. 2:53 to go in the half. Clippers leading it by 5.
1993 NBA Playoffs on TNT is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives, and by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color.
Leading Houston by 5, 2:53 to go in quarter number 2. Another doubleheader for you tomorrow night here on TNT. Game 4 in the Knicks-Indiana series. Knicks leading that one 2-1. It'll come to you from Indianapolis. And then in Game 2, Phoenix and the Lakers hook up again. Lakers up in that series 2-1. Phoenix barely eking out a win in Game 3 here in Los Angeles last night.
That has been a very good series. The Lakers played it last night like they wanted to wrap it up, took an hit. A good effort from Phoenix to pull that thing out.
And you hear about the trash talk between players on the court. A little trash talk between the coaches in that series.
Yeah, they've been going at it in the press here. Today at practices, both coaches going right at it. Randy Kahn saying this thing is going to be won tomorrow night by the Lakers. Of course, the Phoenix Suns filled just the opposite.
At the line, Danny Manning. Not many trips to the free throw line for either team so far on this one. A little different kind of game than we had in game 3. 9 points for Manning. Remember, he averaged just under 23 points a game during the regular season, ranking number 10 in the NBA.
What Danny has tried to do in this game, more so than any other game in this series, it seems, is he's trying to get points going towards the basket instead of relying on the outside jump shot. He has to get to the free throw line a lot. He hasn't done that so far in this series.
Clippers leading it by 6.
Good double team.
And Hakeem had to fire it out to Kenny Smith. Smith has to try to beat the clock now. And there's Hakeem Olajuwon riding the back of Danny Manning. No whistle. Manning on the other end. The tip by Roberts wouldn't go, and Olajuwon pulls away yet another rebound. His 8th.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with Danny Manning. He's going towards the basket now. I think he is waiting for the contact too much instead of aggressively still pursuing the basket.
Olajuwon again, the outside jumper. This time, no. The rebound, Stanley Roberts. He has 7 rebounds in this first half.
He does a lot of really good things for this Clipper team. They feel he will get better. They're going to work him this summer. Make sure he doesn't put the weight back on.
Still a 6-point Clipper lead. Under 2 minutes to go now in the half. 1:45 on the clock. Winston Garland trying a little tricky dribble, and it's stolen away. Tipped by Jackson. Finally pulled away by Danny Manning. The 10th Rocket turnover of the half.
The key, as I watch Stanley Roberts right now, breathing deeply right now, and as I say, this is the time he normally picks up the foul. He's going to have to be very careful right now, and you'll see Larry Brown get him out of the game.
He out-muscles Kenny Smith to the ball. And we'll earn a trip to the free throw line out of this. Kenny Smith called for his first. Ron Harper and John Williams are in. Kenny Norman, Danny Manning sit down for the Clippers. And at the line, Stanley Roberts. And this is an area that I'm sure the Clippers want him to work on this summer. Only a 49% free throw shooter for the year. Only a 31% free throw shooter in this series.
Well, and watching him at the free throw line, one problem I see very quickly is he is falling away when he lets the shot go. He's not holding the follow through long enough, and he's leaning back as it leaves his hand. That time he stayed with it, still shot it strong.
And still a 6-point game. Free throw shooting tonight, not good. Clippers 6 of 12. Houston 0 for 2. Turnover number 11 for the Rockets. Grant. Williams. Clippers ball.
And they get nothing out of this fast break. Excellent job by the Rockets this whole game, getting back defensively, taking away those fast break opportunities that the Clippers love to get.
Stanley Roberts getting a nice hand from Larry Brown as he comes out of the game. Danny Manning is checked back in. Double team. Manning takes the shot and hits it. 11 points tonight for Manning, and that lead up to 8. That's as big as it's been all night for the Clippers. You see the time left in the first half. Garland collides with Ron Harper. And Gary Grant called for the foul, his first.
Well, you'll see Winston Garland here taking the ball to the basket. Now, I called the bump right before he got in the act of shooting. Ron Harper had set up and would have drawn the charge right there. The Clippers had a foul to give, so the Rockets not on the line.
Kenny Smith drills one behind the screen set by Thorpe. 48-42. Smith has 8 points. Danny Manning at 3. Nope. Rebound pulled away by Robert Horry. And the Alabama rookie gives it off to Kenny Smith. And now Houston can get back to it in 4.
Well, the quick shot that time will give the Clippers another shot at the basket.
Clippers led it by 3 at the end of the quarter.
Oh, nice.
Up by 6 now. Olajuwon. Makes it a 4-point game. He has hit for 14 points in this first half. 48-44 Clippers. Grant going through the paint. That was blocked first by Ori, then stolen by Olajuwon.
Terrible play that time by Grant.
Kenny Smith trying to beat the clock. Nope. Horn sounds. Half is over. And the LA Clippers have held on to their lead. At the half, the Clippers 48. The Rockets 44 as the Clippers try to send this to a 5th game in Houston. Coming up next, Ernie Johnson and Chuck Person in our Reebok halftime report.
Report. Cleveland and New Jersey. Slatney. Johnson back here with Chuck Person. Let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, your pick in the Eastern Conference. You know, we hear a lot about Price and Doherty, but you're saying Elo's the key sometimes there.
Elo came up big today. He made Petrovic work on defense. He came up with 22 points and had 7 rebounds, 4 offensive. So that means when Petrovic was leaking out, Elo's getting offensive rebounds. And my man came up big also.
Your man, Larry Nance, came up big.
22 points again.
Yeah, Cleveland comes up big with a 2-1 lead on this thing. Let's take a look at what happened at Brendan Byrne Arena this evening. Derek Coleman has had a huge series, averaging 29 through 2 games. Watch him go to work here. Drazen, that's off the mark. But there's DC, man, and he's muscling in there. 18-8 nets. Sam Bowie left this game. Came down on the left ankle. Went for x-rays. No word yet on that, but he was through for the night. Now, let's talk about your man, Larry Nance.
My man, Larry Nance. Here he is with the move.
Right through the paint.
Yes, for 2 of his 22. And he also has 17 rebounds, 8 offensive. I mean, he came up big as usual. He's the awesome veteran. He comes through each and every game, plays hard. And here's Elo with the finishing man I'm talking about before. It made Drazen Petrovic work, and I think these two guys were the difference in the game.
Cleveland Cavaliers win it 93-84. The winners at Brendan Byrne, and there are the numbers on Larry Nance, 23 points and 17 rebounds. You take a look at the Game 3 summary. The rebounding edge, that's kind of a surprise. The Nets a good rebounding team. The Cavs not so good, but look at that, 63-49. And that's after Bowie left that game, or that's outscored. I'm all over the place on this thing, but the Cavs, Nance and Doherty, I can try to make some sense out of that. They scored a lot more than they usually have in the first 2 games of the series, so you think Cleveland is going to advance in the East, huh?
Absolutely. I know Michael is good, but Cavs, this is a year for the Cavs. Patrick can't come through, you know. Cavaliers, Larry Nance, and my man Elo is going to do it.
And you folks at home, just disregard everything I said about the series summary, except the fact that the Cavs lead it 2-1. When we come back, we'll take a look at Portland and San Antonio. Keep it here, please. You got Portland and San Antonio, and the question really was, Chuck, which guy's going to step up, the Admiral or Cliff Robinson?
Mr. Robinson definitely stepped up.
He's the Mr. Robinson,
yes.
Yeah. San Antonio needed that badly. They got it tonight, a 107-1-0 win over Portland to take a 2-1 lead in that series. All kind of nasty weather they had in San Antonio. Had to delay the start of this thing by 15 minutes because they had up to 8 inches of rain in parts of the city. They closed the airport down and everything else. Portland came out strong. Look at Rod Strickland. You talk about a guy flexible and moving around in midair around Sean Elliott, 63-61. Gary Porter, strong to the hole, 71-66. Portland's sitting pretty, but San Antonio comes back. They've got some weapons, guys like Willie Anderson.
They got supporting cast. Willie Anderson, 43. 3 of his 14 points in the 4th quarter. He came up huge.
And Sean Elliott able to create off the break.
Sean's been big all year, and once again, he comes up big again with a strong drive to the hoop.
101-100 Portland. They need a hoop. Admiral takes the shot.
Sweet Pete Daniels.
My, boy, Daniels coming out of nowhere with the tip to put him up 102-101. They win it 107-101. What kind of a night was it for Mr. Robinson? Not bad. 26 points, 14 boards, 4 blocks. Tomorrow night, another doubleheader here on TNT. Pretty good one, too. New York.
If he'll make a high percentage of those, Stanley Roberts, very impressive. Just 1 personal foul in this game tonight.
And look at that. He's almost already matched the minutes played tonight that he played in all of Game 3 when he fouled out without scoring a single point. But the Clippers' defensive intensity tonight, really the difference in this game. Houston scored 55 first-half points in Game 3, only 44 tonight.
Well, in the game they won, they were able to do a lot of things on the defensive end of the floor that we've seen so far in this ball game. The Rockets are shooting a high percent from the field, but the thing is they've gotten only 39 field goal attempts in this game because of the steals that that the Clipper defense has forced, and the fact that they forced the Rockets to use a lot of the shot clock.
Rockets 11 turnovers in the first half. Clippers only 2. 9 steals for the Los Angeles Clippers in that first half among those turnovers. And you can see they've outscored them 16-4 in the points off turnovers. 48-44 is our score. Third quarter about to begin here at the Los Angeles Sports Arena. Rockets shooting at a much higher percentage, but look how many more shots the Clippers have taken. 11 more than the Houston Rockets have.
Well, and then you go down to the free throw line. Although the Clippers have made just 6 of 12, you see the Rockets, they just have not been attacking the basket. Olajuwon shooting a lot of fall-away shots, so he and the rest of the Rockets have not gotten to the free throw line.
It'll be Houston's ball as play resumes here. Otis Thorpe, Winston Garland, Kenny Smith, Hakeem Olajuwon, Robert Horry on the court for Houston. Kenny Norman, Danny Manning, Mark Jackson, Ron Harper, and Stanley Roberts for the Clippers. And Danny Manning blocks a shot, giving Hakeem a little taste of his own medicine. Another block by Manning. This time the ball comes back to Jackson. Harper losing it, getting it back.
Well, those blocks by Danny Manning also should have his confidence. So he turns it over that time.
That is pocket picked by Winston Garland. Trying to go coast to coast, high off the glass. Garland gets the first points of the second half. He has 4 points tonight, and it's back to a 2-point game.
What a chance for Garland to step up and play big. The Rockets have Vernon Maxwell over there on the bench, but he's played well enough that they haven't had to go to him.
Vernon with a cast on that left wrist. But he has been able to practice the last 2 days. Stanley Roberts comes up short. The tip back door by Ken Norman. And Norman with 9 points.
Stanley Roberts getting a lot of the same attention Olajuwon gets because he has been effective. The Rockets now have to double team him, and that leaves other guys open to get to the offensive boards.
Garland back outside Kenny Smith.
So that ball not moving nearly as well here as it did in Game 3.
And time running out on the shot clock. Somebody better hurry. Hakeem Olajuwon trying to beat the clock. Just did. Well, he gets a lot of rebounds out there, doesn't he? Otis Thorpe. 8 points. A 2-point game again. But Hakeem really positions himself well on long shots. He'll come out by that free throw line and gets a lot of those deep rebounds. He's pulled down 11 in the game already tonight.
Yeah, he's been shooting a lot of shots from out there, so he's finding himself away from the basket an awful lot.
And we got a whistle.
Now, once again, the offensive board work is there for the Clippers. They have to keep following the shots because of the double teams on Stanley Roberts.
Hakeem Olajuwon called for his second personal. And going back to the line will be Danny Manning.
Hakeem Olajuwon coming into this game has averaged almost 6 blocks per ball game during the series, but because Stanley Roberts has been out there, he hasn't been able to roam around as freely as he had been in the previous games when Stanley had found himself in foul trouble.
In Game 3, Olajuwon was operating at will.
Yeah, he had no one to guard. He had no one to guard because the Clippers were not looking on the inside. They were getting nothing from the center position.
13 points tonight for Manning. It's 52-48. Clippers up by 4. Kenny Smith, the jumper, over Stanley Roberts. Kenny Smith in double figures now. That gives him 10 points. And it's back to a 2-point game. Away, but it's recovered and put home by Stanley Roberts, who now has 10 points on the night.
Clippers also in this game have done a much better job getting to the loose balls. You think back to Game 3, man.
Yeah, they were out hustled for every loose ball.
The Rockets got every one of them.
Not so tonight. Robert Horry. Olajuwon another rebound. He has a dozen rebounds in the game. He gets it back
That's double team. It's very, very effective down low on Olajuwon.
He had to get it outside to Ori, and Ori converts with the jumper, his 4th point. And it's back to a 2-point Clipper lead.
I think the Clippers will feel real good if someone else beats them. If they can keep Olajuwon from putting up the big numbers, they lose this game. I think their game plan worked pretty well.
Down low, Danny Manning finds the open man, Kenny Norman. There's Stanley Roberts again.
Now, that's the way Olajuwon was playing in Game 3. He was roaming after every shot, but the Clippers had no one in there that could put the ball in the basket on the rebound.
12 points, 8 rebounds for Stanley Roberts, and you get an idea of just how big he is when you saw Olajuwon hit the deck after that last move.
Well, you'll see Olajuwon come over from the weak side. Look, he's going to come over for the block. And that leaves Stanley Roberts right there. He was on the bench much of Game 3. Could not make plays just like that one.
Foul called against Mark Jackson. Danny Manning sits down now, and John Williams checks back in. Been a little bit of a different rotation with the big men tonight for Larry Brown because Loy Vaught unable to play due to a strained muscle in his lower back. So you're seeing Williams and Roberts out on the court together at times. Norman cross court, dangerous pass, but he got it to Harper. A little over 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Clippers up by 4.
Nice. Well, that's the kind of
nice defense.
Nice defensive play.
Kenny Smith on the other end. Good defense by Mark Jackson. Credit him on the block shot.
Good conversion by Mark Jackson that time. Stops the basket.
Hakeem trying to go up. I'll tell you what, when you get sandwiched between Stanley Roberts and John Williams, all you hope is that you're going to get out of there alive.
That you can.
That's 580 pounds of people.
Have your senses once you squeeze your way out of that.
The foul is on John Williams. And Hakeem Olajuwon's first trip to the free throw line tonight. It's only free throw attempts number 3 and 4 for the Houston Rockets. They have not yet made a free throw tonight. Now they have. Olajuwon in this series averaging 30 points, 12 rebounds a game. If he has 5 blocked shots tonight, that will tie a series record for a 4-game series, a record he holds.
He has 3 blocks now.
56-54, Clippers by 2 again as they hit their first 2 free throws of the night to the Houston Rockets. Jackson takes the jumper over Kenny Smith. Thorpe the rebound, and now the Rockets can tie it up. Garland.
Yeah, you can count that one. Garland's been shooting it too well since moving into the starting lineup.
56 all, 7:21 to go. Clippers going to call a timeout here. We are all tied up in quarter number 3.
The 1993 NBA playoffs on TNT is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks, and by Dutch Boy Paint. Dutch Boy has the look that lasts.
In this series, it's been Hakeem Olajuwon that we've talked about. Some other guys out here also can block some. Mark Jackson, not noted as a shot blocker, gets all of that one. But since we are talking blocks, let's talk about the one that was the best in the league, the best in the business right now. Hakeem Olajuwon, 3 blocks tonight, doing what he does best right there.
And a total of 20 block shots in these 4 games, just 3 away from his